This is the entire document that I'm going to be talking about. So anything I miss or you don't understand, you can find all the information here yourselves. And this is the first diagram that I just want to show you because I can't replicate this except on this document. What it's showing you is Barn is getting as many gigabytes of data at whatever speed we want to get it from the internet to Barn. And from the Barn router is picking up 1 gigabit. So every single one of our customers is getting a gigabit feed to the router. If they plug an Ethernet cable into our router, they will get roughly a gigabit. There'll be some overhead, so any speed test on a decent computer will get you 900 and odd. Perfect. The problem we have, which is what this session is about, is how much they get through Wi-Fi. This is a dark art. It's really hard to understand, but we have spent now 9 years trying to understand this and find out ways of getting decent Wi-Fi to every part of our properties, businesses and homes. So as long as you understand you are getting a gigabit to your router and you spread this information to your communities, because you are we are the volunteers, I'm a volunteer too, we are the representatives of Barn to our communities. They tend to moan to us. And you think digging is hard and getting wayleaves is hard. It is nothing compared to when you all go live and everybody's ringing you up and saying, you told me I was going to get gigabytes and gigabits and all I'm getting is 20 meg on my phone. And you've got to understand all this and explain it to them, preferably in advance, and get them to start understanding the capabilities of Ethernet and Wi-Fi. Right, so the very best thing you can do in your homes, and modern homes already have it, is Ethernet in every room. So if you've got a customer, let me show you a nice picture now. I'll show you a nice picture that explains it. I'll just scroll down quickly here. So it's all here in this document, and I've got more pictures as well. So this is a nice picture that Phil's found. Say you've put the router in one side of your house, and the person has an office at the top right-hand side of the house or in the attic. If there are any cinder blocks or plasterboards with metal backs or very thick stone walls, it won't get to his office in the far side of his house. So do you do a lot of fiddling about with your house installs and put the router in his office? Well, yes, you could do, but that means the room where the router could have gone easily, where the television is, won't get a decent Wi-Fi signal. So you have to run Ethernet all the way back again. So when you're choosing where you do your house installs, which George is going to talk about later, if you've got an awkward house, no matter where you put that router, it probably will not cover the whole house. And this little diagram on this file that you can all access shows you how you can run Ethernet cables to different rooms in your house. And you can run 4 from the router, no problem. If you want more, you can put a little switch in and have 4 more, or 8 more, or 16 more, or 100 more if you want. You can run as much Ethernet as you like. Some of our smart houses have, I think David was saying he had 5 miles of Ethernet in his house. So there's no limits to Ethernet, and every single end of that Ethernet will give you the full gig to a television, to an Xbox, to a computer, whatever you like. So Ethernet is the very best option. I've got prices and little bits I can show you if I don't run out of time. And on the right, there's a little wall socket that pops out in your room of your house. If you've just decorated, you will not want to do this. But what you can do is run it outside your house. You can pop it through a window, through a hole in the wall, up a drain pipe, along the gutters, and in through another window if you want to, with external Ethernet. We also supply free, thanks to a chap at Rathmel, these little boxes. So you can buy some ordinary Ethernet cable, you can run it all up around the outside of your house. You can pop it through the window and pop one of those boxes on without any special tools. And if you ask your local coordinator, they can get you a couple of those from the Computer Club store, and there's an Ethernet hole in it, and that just goes on the windowsill, and you've got Ethernet in that room as well. So Ethernet is the very best.
We can't see the boxes because you're screen sharing at the moment. Perhaps you'd like to hold one. Well, actually, I can hold one up now. If
yeah, you hold the box up, Hugh.
Okay.
Can I also just say, Chris, hi Chris, it's George, just to say the independent barn approved contractors that are on our website, they can also, some of them can supply you with Ethernet cabling or come and actually fit Ethernet cabling for you as well. So it's worth checking out that, and your local electricians as well that can help different customers with this issue.
Thank you, George. Just hold the box up quickly, Hugh. Yeah, right. It's a little box like that. Perfect. On the end. I'll show them the other if we've got time.
The cable goes in that end, and then there's a socket on that end to plug stuff into.
Perfect. Right, the cheaper solution than that, if you don't want to run Ethernet everywhere, is a power line adapter. So you plug a power line adapter into your barn router, into the electric, and if your electric circuit's good enough, you can pop it out in another room, in another plug, to a television, to a computer, or whatever you want. I found in my old house, they didn't work very well, even the expensive ones. If you want to see what they look like, that's what they look like, and that's the price of some. And these have to be plugged into a wall socket. They cannot be plugged into an extension lead. If you haven't got spare wall sockets, you can buy this sort of plug with a plug socket in the front of it and plug your extension leads into the front of it. So the actual home plug is in your proper electric wiring in the wall. Right, back to home network help. So they are a quick fix if you just want Ethernet into another room for a specific device. I wouldn't think they're a quick fix, put it that way. It's not the perfect fix.
I would make the point you will not get a gigabit down.
No, you won't get a gigabit. In my house, even the gigabit plugs only gave me 30 meg, which is adequate to run a computer or a television. But they will not give you the full gig on Ethernet will. This little diagram on our resource file is showing you the range of the Wi-Fi. So where, if you have the router bottom left, it'll go out into the garden a bit, it'll do that room perfectly. It gets into the room above and possibly the room next to it, but it's fading out all the time, so it's going slower and slower. For some people, they don't mind. The top right-hand room is a room they don't use. Room on the right is possibly the kitchen where they don't use it very much. They've got all they want in the lounge. They've got all they want in the bedroom above it. They're quite happy with that limited Wi-Fi. And that's just a typical house. What we've got here is the people have decided they're going to put the router in the middle of the house, which is sometimes a good idea. And that gives some Wi-Fi in every single room, but you notice that the corners of every single room don't have very good Wi-Fi, and that might be where the desk is or the television is. In this house, they've put another access point in the office there. So the router's in the lounge, they put another access point in the office. They can use it. This one, they've used what's called a Wi-Fi booster. So they plugged it in, it is picking up a signal from the barn router and repeating it, but it's not particularly good. If there's a power cut, it messes everything up. The Wi-Fi that it's giving out is only half the strength of what it's picking up, but it might be adequate for some houses. The disadvantage is you have now got two Wi-Fi networks in your house. So as you leave that room where the blue repeater is, your phone or your tablet is latched on to that repeater. As you leave that room and go downstairs, it stays on that repeater. You might be sat next to the barn router, but you'll have a very poor signal indeed, because your devices aren't intelligent enough to quickly swap to the stronger one. They will eventually, but not quickly. So this is the way to get a strong second network in your house. This person has run Ethernet to the spare bedroom or the office and put in another access point. This can be a reconditioned BT hub. Versions 3, 4 and 5 can be reconditioned to be access points. So it costs you nothing to recondition an old hub into an access point. Again, you've got two networks, you'll have the same problem, but you've solved a problem in that you've got a good connection up to your office. As long as your gadgets stay in your office and you do your work in your office on the office network, and when you come downstairs, you're back onto the barn router with those gadgets. So now we're into the perfect solution. So what this diagram is showing you is a mesh. Now with a mesh, you plug the first mesh point into your router. You plug the second point somewhere where it can see the first one, and the third access point, because most houses need 3, not 2, but he couldn't get all the picture in the diagram. I've got a better picture somewhere else, don't worry. So you usually have 3 with a mesh, and as long as each mesh box can see its friend, the mesh is set up. You turn the Wi-Fi off the barn router and don't bother using it at all. You just use your mesh. And wherever you go in your house, you're in one perfect network. It will go at the speed of the device that you buy. So if you buy a really cheap mesh, it will all work in your house, but it won't be as fast as if you buy a really expensive mesh. I'm going to show you some meshes in a minute, and that's about it for the choices that you tell people about. So now we go over it all with pictures so that makes it better for us to see with pictures.
And Chris, this document is available on our website.
The document I've just used is showing you, it was showing you what's on our website, and I've just explained it. Sometimes explaining it and then reading it's better. So this little diagram shows you roughly the same thing. You've got your barn router in one corner of your house. Even if you put that barn router at the other corner, then it's still not going to reach your house. You put it in the middle, you have a much better chance of getting some in every single room. But you've a lot of work to do to get it into the middle of your house. The choice is yours. But as you can see, next to the router there, where it's yellow, you've got your super duper top class speeds. As you move away from it, it's like a candle. So the barn router is a candle. If you hold a piece of paper next to that candle, you can read that piece of paper. The further away you go, you can probably still see the candle, but you can't read your piece of paper. And all the very purpley lines are where the Wi-Fi is pegging out. If I refresh that page, it'll do it again, won't it, for you? Yeah, so that's your Wi-Fi coming out. Now it's going to hit something, like on the left-hand side, it's probably hitting a mirror and it's bouncing off again, and it's going through a doorway, and it's bouncing off a fridge, or it's bouncing off a metal wall. So the far rooms really aren't getting very much at all. They will be picking up bits of Wi-Fi. So when people say, oh, my BT Wi-Fi used to go right through my house. Well, yeah, this probably will as well, but it won't be a terrific lot of use because you're too far away from it. And what you want to do is spread that Wi-Fi out everywhere. Very few homes can cope with just one router, whether it's a BT router, a Sky router, or a barn router. When you've got this 1,000 meg coming in, you want to make the most of it. And if your friends and communities are prepared for this, it does help once they go live. Then they think, oh, that's what they were on about, a mesh, maybe I should get a mesh. So you'll make your job a little bit easier if you prep them for it. This is another one. Where's this one? Oh, yes. This is how this man has designed it. So he's telling you exactly what he's done. If you want to go into Rhapsodies and do this for yourself, you can get a Wi-Fi analyzer and do your own mapping. And this is his map, how he's got it. So he's got it the other way up. But it's just the same, the yellow, See, it's bouncing off, it bounces off things and it bounces through things and it gets through floors and it gets through doors. And in certain parts of that bottom room at certain times, it's actually, you know, bearable. You can pick up your emails, but you certainly wouldn't be able to stream video, which is what we want to do with this connection that we've got. The other one that's really good, so Home Network Help, we've done that. These are the prices for the different things. So Ethernet cables, if you want to use barn contractors, most areas have very good accredited barn contractors who will do Ethernet for you, indoor or outdoor. If you want to do it yourself, these are roughly the prices. So these are from Screwfix. If you wanted to do a whole lot yourself, you can get a 300-meter drum of it for £110. It's as cheap as chips and it's rock solid. If you don't want to buy a whole drum full and you just want a nice short one that you can see, you can run it up to your garage or something. I've got a good one here from Amazon, a nice cheap one. So you can get 50 feet of it for £8.51. The only disadvantage with buying it ready terminated like this is you have a bigger hole to drill through your wall or through your window, but you might have an air vent or a bit of lag in your attic where you can shove it out and shove it in your garage. The job's done for £8.51 and you've got the full gig. Right, if you want to run your own Ethernet, this is what Hugh showed you before, terminated onto the end of Ethernet, and then that's fastened to a windowsill or a wall, and you just plug whatever you want into it with Ethernet, whether it's a mesh unit, another access point, a television, a computer. This is what they look like inside, and they're really easy to terminate. We have a video, everything's back to front. We have a video showing you how to do this. And all it is this little clip inside, and you strip the casing off your Ethernet cable for 3 inches. You untwist your pairs, you straighten out the little copper wires inside, you push them through the holes, and the holes are colour marked, so you can't possibly go wrong. You put a cable tie to hold it tight once you've got it in firmly. That is what it looks like on the back when it's in firmly. So you end up with 2.5 inches or so of wire sticking out the top, firmly tied with a cable tie. You just cut it off with a pair of scissors. You don't need any special tools. You then put it back in the little hole. Oh, gosh, can't see what I'm doing here. That way up. Put it back in the little hole there and press it down. A bit cleverer than that, hold on. Putting it in the right way helps, and I've got my glasses on. There, put it back in the little hole. The video's better than this. And screw the top on. You can screw that on the wall, they give you screws, and then screw the top on. So whichever way you do it, it ends up looking like that on your wall, with that hole to put your Ethernet cable in for whatever gadget you want. These little boxes can be supplied free by the Computer Club because the very nice man who designed them gave us a box full. So first come, first served if you want those. Right, what does a mesh unit look like? This is the cheapest mesh unit I've managed to find today. These are just under £60 on Amazon. These are Tender Nova MW3 units. Lots and lots of our customers have these. Barn don't recommend any particular kind at all, but a lot of our customers have these, and these are the cheapest at the moment. They have 2 Ethernet ports, which is very useful because you can plug one Ethernet feed into one and Ethernet out of one into a gadget. They come with their own little power plug. They all have to be powered up, and that's a Tender Nova. The other ones we've had a lot of success with a lot of customers are the BT range. The BT range at the moment, the cheapest is £109. It comes down on special offer days and it goes up again to £129. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you those online if I can remember where I was. Where was I? Here. That's where I want to be. Can you see that? Obviously. Yes, I can see it. So can you see it? I hope you can see it.
Yeah, we can see your Amazon.
Yeah,
Ethernet.
Amazon, that's it. So that was the Ethernet cable, and here I've saved the whole home Wi-Fi page. So you can see here, buying a mesh is like buying a car. I like a Mini because I'm not very good at driving and parking and everything else, and I don't like spending money on petrol, so I like a Mini. So my idea of a good mesh is a BT or a Tender Nova one. If you want a Rolls Royce, here you can see the Rolls Royce of meshes. There's quite a few Rolls Royces. The Netgear Orbi Wi-Fi 6 range, £1,000 if you want one of those. We've tried all these different meshes at the Computer Club, so we are experts in trying things and seeing what works. And hand on heart, I can't say that I get enough value out of a Netgear Orbi to spend all that money. Everything I want to do, streaming video, coping with 7 granddaughters with all the gadgets and all the Xboxes and all the parents with the smartphones, and any little cheap mesh will cope with an influx of family and an influx of gadgets. This is the BT best version of the BT Premium. This has 2 Ethernet ports, which is very handy. The BT Mini and the BT Midi don't. So for £300, that's the BT Premium. That's like the, I don't know, the Cortina of the range. The next one down is the BT Midi, which is on offer at Amazon at the moment for £149. It's usually £199. That's like the Escort, and that is an exceptionally good product, and an awful lot of people have that one. Then scroll down a bit, we've got the BT Mini. That is on offer at Amazon for £137 at the moment. They're usually £170 before. The one that people buy the most is the BT Mini Home Wi-Fi, which is £109 on Amazon. I think it's £109 on the BT shop at the moment as well. So if you look around, Curry's, BT shop, Amazon for BT products, Amazon and Curry's for the Netgear ones. TP-Link you can get anywhere. Personally, I don't like TP-Link, but people do have them, but I don't know a terrific lot about them because I don't like them, so I haven't tried them very much. That's the MW5 showing up, another limited time deal, £90. But here we are, that's the one I held up before, the Tender Nova MW3, £68. So that's the cheapest today. I don't think I've seen it as cheap as that anyway before. There are other Netgear Orbis that aren't quite as fast as the Rolls Royce, £250 there. So you pay your money and you take your choice. The higher end Tender MW6 has 2 Ethernet ports as well, and it's slightly stronger and slightly faster, but the Mini one does do the job. So that's what you tell people, to get really super Wi-Fi to really use your full gig. You need a mesh, but Ethernet is still the best option, and plug the mesh boxes into each room. That makes you mesh bomb-proof.
Okay.
At the Computer Club, we can give you instructions on how to do things if you get stuck. We do the Barn Computer Club on Facebook, where you can type a message, and there's loads of us will answer all the questions.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chris. That's fantastic. Thank you very much for your half an hour on the Wi-Fi and mesh systems.